this morning and hear them warm up too. So I got like a double dose of everything. So I'd like to just give another hand to our guest musician, Sean, our beautiful band. Thank you so much. Music adds so much to the day. It does. So my talk today is on the hungry ghost. The hungry ghost. Those things that just have little control over our lives, we don't even know. All right, so today, since it's Spooky Sunday, right before Halloween, I thought I would give these hungry ghosts a form for us that we can imagine, right? So zombies and werewolves and vampires. Oh my. Yeah. Oh my. These are the hungry ghosts that distract you from your purpose, and instead they fill you with craving, with obsession, with distraction, and with attachment to things outside of us that will never make us happy, but we can't stop believing that they will solve all of our problems. That's where the hungry ghosts take us. They are a source of distraction from living our purpose, which is to bring as much of our divine nature into our life experience as possible. That's our purpose, our soul's purpose, to bring more of that light into this world. The hungry ghosts keep us from doing that, and you would be surprised at how easy it is to fall under their spell. It's very easy. So the hungry ghosts, they turn us away from the desired outcome we have, the experience that we want to have, and instead it eats at our faith. It causes us to lose faith in ourselves and what we are capable of. And the hungry ghost is a bottomless pit of negativity. They can never be fulfilled. They're always in a state of want. They're always in a state of need. So they only exist in a state of lack and wanting. Now these hungry ghosts, their attachment and distraction and obsession, those are what keep us from the awareness of our divinity. And when we feed them, it makes them more ravenous. It makes them more ravenous. And this is where addiction comes in. This is where addiction comes in. It's a hunger that cannot be satiated. So the hungry ghost is characterized by needing something out here to change or be theirs, so then they can be happy. But then it never is. It never is. And so I was thinking of some ways they could show up in our lives, right? So one of the ways they can show up in our life is when we decide to shine out our inner zombie, okay? Now, if you think about the zombie, zombies have been around a while, but they have gotten crazy popular in the last 20 years. And they're characterized as a mindless eating machine, always after more brains. And you can't talk to them, you can't reason with them, you just have to run for your life because all they want is brains. And even if you're in a crowd of people and you think, I just have to be the fastest person here, right? I just have to not be the slowest person. If a zombie gets one brain, it still keeps going after brains. One brain won't fill it up, right? So it doesn't matter if you're the fastest person in that pack of people running away. Eventually it's going to get you because it's just going to keep coming because it's insatiable. It is insatiable. So it's a mindless eating machine, always focused on something out here it needs for its hunger. And that thing the zombie wants is brains. What we want, though, when we go into zombie mode is a thing. There's a thing out here, and we want it because it will then make our life perfect. Right? The perfect job, and then the perfect partner, and then the perfect house. And then we get those things, and we're still insatiable. So now it's like, well, maybe now I need another person, another pair of shoes, or another guitar. I knew I was going to throw that out there. Right? Another workshop, another whatever. There will always be something else that we want. Now we can, when we get these new things, we can be temporarily distracted by it. Like I know the feeling of a new purse. Like I know that feeling. It's magical. Like every new time I get a new purse, I know it's the Mary Poppins purse, right? Everything I ever could need is in that purse. But then after a while, we get tired of it. And when we're done consuming our new thing that was going to fix our life and all of our problems, well, we have to go chase after the next thing. right? Because when we are in zombie mode, we are insatiable. So we have to keep going after that next thing. We can't experience wholeness because we're looking out here for something to fulfill that void, right? So the inner zombie is always attracted to things out in our environment. Now the void, I was thinking about this is kind of funny. We have an inner void only when we avoid inner direction. So if we don't avoid inner direction and inspiration, we wouldn't have the void. We wouldn't have that. So the antidote for being in the zombie state, the magic vaccination, I guess, or immunization, I don't know, for being a zombie, would be to just act on the inspiration that we receive. Act on the inspiration. Our soul, our higher self, it plants a seed within us, okay, a little seed thought, an inspiration, sends a signal, like a cosmic signal, goes right into our imagination. And it's a new idea. It's an inspiration. Then we think on it. And you know, when we get inspired by something, the next thing we do is imagine it. And we give it a life within our imagination. And once we give it a life in our imagination, it goes to our heart. And once it's in our heart, it becomes a divine longing. And that longing is not the same as being obsessed with getting something out here. The longing urges us forward. The longing will tell us exactly what to do next through divine direction, right? And then we are bringing more of our light into this world. So divine longing is when we consciously bring more of our divine nature into our physical experience. So we have an inspiration, and this inspiration is to create a brand new experience in our life. Now, this new experience, it doesn't have to be a huge thing. It doesn't have to be moving out of the state or starting a company with 500 employees. It doesn't have to be something huge. It doesn't have to be life, like planet changing, okay? We create new experiences all the time, and that could just be deciding to go for a Sunday drive instead of going on Netflix, right? It could be deciding to do a new workout, right? It can be the little things, okay? It can be deciding to make a nice breakfast instead of eating a cold bowl of cereal. Okay, these will bring new experiences into our life, so they don't have to be huge. Now, within each of these experiences, that's where the gift lies, because in every experience, there's an opportunity. And that's where we really start feeling enriched, because within every time we do something new, no matter how big it is, every time we do something new, and it can be a little thing, it doesn't have to be huge, we do something new, and we get another opportunity to express more compassion, and maybe that's compassion toward ourselves and toward our body. Okay, we can express compassion toward other people. We might get an opportunity to connect more deeply with other people, make new friends. We might get an opportunity to be more creative, and we might get the opportunity to be more creative with others, right? And so these are all what bring new experiences into our life. This is where the joy comes from. And when we're acting with inspiration, we are experiencing the new opportunities. That's what we're really experiencing. Okay, so we act on inspiration, and it may be to volunteer somewhere. It may be to give a gift. Okay, anything, if we're inspired by it. If we are inspired, we do it. Because within that doing, there will be the opportunity for expressing ourselves as the next brightest version of ourselves. Now, when we are acting with inspiration, we do not have to worry about being overcome by our inner zombie, because we will have faith. We understand we are enough because we are the physical portion of source and expression. We're source expressing in a body. And so we are enough because everything we need comes through us. It comes through us as inspiration and as divine direction, and then we take an action. And then things change in our environment, and then we take another action, and then something else changes. So we are always expanding the universe through us. So we don't have to worry about the zombie. See, we only get attached to things out here because we're not following our guidance, and we're doing guesswork. When we look out here for something that makes us happy, it's guesswork, right? Oh, well, so-and-so did this thing and it seemed to work really well for them, so maybe if I do it too, okay? Well, I bought a purse one time and it made me really happy, so maybe another purse will. I'll try that. All right, the inspiration takes away the guesswork. Inspiration does. Okay, so that's the zombie. Now the next creature that we can become is the werewolf. Now we know the stories of werewolves. A werewolf is a normal, mild-mannered person. And they pretty much just live a normal life, unless they're in the Twilight movies or something. But your werewolf only becomes treacherous like 3 days out of the month. The day before the full moon, and right after the full moon. Now, when they turn into a werewolf, they are out of control. They're out of control. And they will attack a predator just as easily as they could attack a loved one. They are so out of control, they cannot recognize who's who, right, when they're in werewolf state. So they have no control over their actions. They just want to snap and bite. They just want to tear things up with their teeth. And if a werewolf bites you, it passes its poison onto you. So now you have that poison. Because that's what a werewolf does. Now, when the werewolf comes out of werewolf state, they are so sorry. They look around at all the chaos and damage they did, and they're so sorry. They didn't mean to do all that. They were unconscious. So the werewolf was just reacting to their world, to their environment. That's what the werewolf did. So we can also get into a werewolf state ourselves. And it happens because we get distracted from our own divine nature, and instead we're looking out here on events and getting mad, right? Because we're forgetting that we have choice. We have choice. We can be inspired. We can be a force for good. But instead we look out here and something's wrong, so it sets us off. Now in a big way, this can look like going on social media or watching the news, and you get angry over a political drama. And so then you're going to go on social media and you're going to call out all your friends who voted for the other person, right? Because that always changes things, right? But that's what we're going to do. But see, the werewolf nature is reacting and unconsciousness and snapping and biting. So they don't bring anything new to the situation. They just bring the same old crap to the situation, right? They bring more anger, more frustration, more hatred, more judgment. That's what the werewolf brings. Now, we can also do this. It doesn't have to be a big thing that we get caught up. It can be a little thing, like getting up in the morning and just wanting to make your coffee. And so you go out and there's your coffee machine. You need to fill the pitcher with water and just put it in the coffee machine. But there's a bunch of dirty dishes in the sink because somebody wasn't loading their dirty dishes. So now you got to load all the dishes into the dishwasher and start the dishwasher up. And then you finally load your water into the thing. You make your coffee and you go sit down. But then the dogs, the two dogs are tap, 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 back and forth across the floor. Because the little dog has the blanket, and even though there's a big bed for the big dog wants what the little dog has. So it wants the blanket too. So put the little dog on the big bed, and the dog now wants the big bed too. So lay the blanket out really big so both the dogs can fit on it. But by then, it's late. Coffee's cold. Time to get dressed and go do something, right? So then you get in your car. And you go out and you yell at the drivers. You're too fast, you're too slow. Your car's too shiny clean. Who are you to have such a clean car? Okay? We are spreading a contagion when we do that. Now it's somebody else's responsibility when they get snapped at and they get a contagion. It is their responsibility, but you know what? We don't want to be the catalyst for them to have to make that choice. We don't. See, in the moment when we are snapping and biting and spreading our own poison, we are not focused on how our choices have consequences. We're instead focused on how everything out here is out to get us. That's what we're focused on. So we bite, we spread our poison, because we're attached to this idea of how things should have been out here, so our day could have started off smoothly. Because if the sink had just been cleared, none of this would have happened. So it's the kid's fault. It's the kid's fault. Okay. So a werewolf, when we're in our werewolf nature, we are reacting, we are not responding. Now unconsciously, And this happens too, unconsciously. We know we made a choice. Later on, we think about it, and we think about that little old lady with her walker trying to cross the street who we yelled at, and we feel really bad about that. Okay, we think about the people we snapped at, and we feel so bad. That's our inner werewolf. That is our inner werewolf. So the antidote for our werewolf nature is inner peace. And it's like, yeah, when I'm feeling like a werewolf, why would I want to turn to inner peace? Well, that's why we practice it all the time, not just when we're mad. We start ahead of time. When we go into a state of inner peace, this takes us within our divine design. And in our divine design, we have a mechanism to bring us inner peace no matter what's going on out here. It's part of our divine design. Now we have to practice accessing it, but it's ours. It's already there and already available. When we're looking around at the package of our life, okay, our body, our relationships, when we look around at that package and we are thinking how all these things are wrong and things need to change to make my life easy, we are in lack consciousness, and we are not designed to thrive in lack consciousness. That's why it feels really bad. It's telling us it's out of alignment with our program. Okay, because we're not designed to be there. So inner peace is the mechanism for us to get acceptance, accept the package of our life, our body, our relationships, so we're not distracted by what's out there. Instead, we turn within. Okay, we find our inner peace right there. And then we can accept what's going on, so we know what we have to work with right here and now. And we can start from where we are in inspiration. That's what we want. The inner peace takes us to inspiration, so we know what to do next if we don't like what's happening. Inspiration will guide us forward. So the werewolf cannot make the changes. Werewolf can't do that. It can't be a force for good. It can only add to the problem. To be a spiritual activist, to be a catalyst for good, we want to practice inner peace. We want to practice acting on inspiration, because that's what causes transformation in our life. So there's the werewolf. So now we have the vampire. The vampire. They've gotten so popular over these last 20 years too. Now the vampire is a little more tricky, because you see a werewolf, you see a zombie, and you know you need to run. But vampires don't always look scary. They've changed a lot since Nosferatu, right? They've changed a lot. They are something sexy now. And like some vampires even glitter like diamonds, all right? So we don't always know to run from a vampire. And the vampire likes it this way because when they're charming, they have somebody willingly hand their power over. So see, with the werewolf and the zombie, they're just taking. But when you have somebody willingly give you their power, okay, that's a greater power. So that's why the vampire is charming. So they have to survive off the blood of others, that's the life force, and they're charming, and they get people to just give it to them, right from their neck. Okay, right from the center of choice. All right. I love in the Twilight sagas, don't judge me, those vampires really like fit the archetype of like what's going on within our society now better than any other vampire, except maybe Lestat, because they're obsessed with other people, and they want those people as possessions, because they can constantly get this vital life force from that person. They're obsessed. Now, when we go into a vampire state, we are also obsessed. We are obsessed with what other people think of us. Because when people love us and tell us how great we are, we get something in return for that. Okay, not that we can't tell that to people, or not that we can't accept a compliment, but that is not where we want to survive. That's not how we thrive. Okay, we are thriving because of vital life force that comes through us. But when we are obsessed with other people approving of us, of loving us, then we are needing their power. And we can turn into really clingy, needy people when we are looking for validation. Okay, really clingy. So we constantly can obsess over what other people think. When we're not tapping into our own vital force energy, we are wanting the vital force from other people. And that rejection, then, if we get rejected by somebody, that can be a trigger for more obsession, right? And then we just get more obsessed with having approval from other people. But we're in that consciousness when we do that. We cannot thrive when we are in lack consciousness. So even though that getting approval from other people can give us a temporary high, it will not sustain us. So I give a class, I give a talk every year on what we believe makes a difference. And I can remember doing this a few years ago, and I did it in my home, and I had a living room full of people. Most of them were people I already knew. A couple of them invited people, though. And this talk was on basically based loosely on our 5 principles, which is about how the divine is in here. Well, there's one lady who shows up to this talk, and she's wearing a church t-shirt of a traditional church that sees God out there. And so I know she's not going to care for what I have to say probably, but, I'm just going to share what I share. So I'm giving the talk, and there are people sitting around the room nodding, and they're taking notes. But this one lady, she does this, and she does this. And in my mind, I go, oh my God, how can I change my talk now spontaneously to include her in this? How can I make her like me? And I didn't see the other people who I was serving. I was just like, how can I make this one person? How can I manipulate her and trick her into liking me because I'm such a great person? It's hard. But see, not everybody's going to love us. Not everybody is going to appreciate us. Not everybody is going to want what we have to share. They're just not. And that's okay. It's not about them. It's not about us. It's about them. It's about them. So the antidote for this is, and it's not easy being rejected. I mean, some people can do the I don't give enough about what others think. They can pull that off so well. I'm not one of those people. If I get rejected, I hurt a little in my tender heart for a little while. I can move on. But what I've learned is to see rejection as a deselection process. And so I'm going to give you an example of this so that you can take it home, okay? Imagine that you have a bakery, and it is a special bakery, and all you sell in this bakery are cupcakes. Just cupcakes, the best cupcakes you could make. They're so good. But then somebody comes in, and I imagine this man looking like Ron Swanson from Parks and Rec, and he says, look at all the cupcakes. But you know what I really like is a steak and eggs and bacon. And so you think, oh, well, I want him to like me, so I'm going to run to the store and get some steak, eggs, and bacon. I'm going to make him a meal, because then I make him this great steak meal, and maybe he'll go tell his friends what great cupcakes I have, right? Okay, or if somebody comes in and needs a shoe repair, are you going to run and get a shoe repair kit and fix their shoes so they'll like you and maybe come back someday and try a cupcake? No, you're not going to do that. You're going to focus on the cupcakes, because shoe repair person has a shoe repair they could go to. Steak guy has a restaurant he could go to. You are going to make the best cupcakes you can have, because you want to serve the mom who's going through a homeschool group and wants to bring special cupcakes for the winter solstice. You want to serve the person at this place of work over here, where they're going to take cupcakes into all the employees to celebrate a good month. That's who you want to serve. You want to serve the people who want what you serve, right? So that's what we want to think about, is rejection is just deselection. What I have doesn't work for them, and that's okay. So they can go on and do what they're going to do. And then, you know what? Once we are deselected, we are redirected to move into the life where we really, really belong. Okay, so that's why deselection is very powerful. That's what gets us out of our obsessing, our vampire state, needing people to like us. We just focus on being our authentic self, and we move right into our own tribe where we are appreciated. So the zombie is attachment, the werewolf is being distracted, and the vampire is our obsession. And those are the things that keep us from the awareness of our divinity. Now, spirit is ever unfolding in its nature, ever expanding through us. All we have to do is stop feeding the hungry ghost and instead turn into our own divine nature. Trust in what is working through us, for us, as us. And that is how we create heaven on earth. So until next time, remember, you are the activity of spirit in a body. You are the heart and soul of spirit in this world. You are a soul designed for growth and goodness in everything you do. You are blessed, and so it is. Amen. So it is. So now we have, before our offering, we have a special song that is a gift.
Just love playing with you guys too. Hey there, friends, I've got a song to sing, and I think you might like it. It's a simple melody that brings me back to center whenever things get complicated. It goes like this. I do my work, I feel the sun, I do my best to give and receive love with everyone. And when I fall short, I forgive myself. And when you fall short, I forgive you. Oh, life can be hard, but it doesn't have to. It can be quite simple. All you need to do is remember what you're here for and forget everything else. And do your work and feel the sun. And do your best to give and receive love with everyone. And when you fall short, forgive yourself. And when I fall short, please forgive me. We've arrived at the moment to choose. We've got everything to gain and everything to lose. We're all the same, different bodies in the game, and everyone wins means we're all in and included. So what do you think? Isn't it sweet? Cried all night when I wrote it. Now I offer it to you, a gift from my heart, and I hope it makes your load a little lighter. As you do your work and feel the sun, do your best to give and receive love with everyone. And when you fall short, forgive yourself. And when I fall short, please forgive me. I'm doing my work and feeling the sun. I do my best to give and receive love with everyone. And when I fall short, I forgive myself. And when you fall short, I forgive you. And when I fall short, I forgive myself. And when you fall short, I forgive you.
Alright, so now we'll have our lovely offering ladies come up here. Offering ladies? Sorry. Readers, ambassadors, angels.
There you go, that's better.
Angels, the glowing, radiant, crystal-winged angels that just make
Money
my heart go
angels.
like this. The money angels, come on. All right, so we'll say together our blessing. Okay. Divine love through me now blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have,
all that I give, and all that I receive.
The more I offer It's given me everything. The more I get, I believe. As I give, so I receive. So I give what I get. I give in thanks for all I have, and all that I receive according to the divine plan. Because the more I give, the more I have to give. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The more I have the vessel to receive. The more I offer up to the source that's given me everything. The more that I can have what I need. Yeah, the more I offer up to the source that's given me everything. The more that I can have what I receive.
Woo! Beautiful. Beautiful. So now we will bless this gift. And we bless the gift, and we bless the giver, knowing that it is the universe, it is the light expanding through them and through our church and into the community to do great things. And so it is.
Amen.
Amen. All right, so I'm going to have the kids come up here real quick and just tell me what they did today. You want to stand right there? Yeah. Okay, who's going to tell me what you did? Like I have this to show. Okay, well let's let Calvin start, and you can finish up, okay? Here, I'll let you tell me about that. Okay, Calvin?
Today's my birthday.
How old are you, Calvin? How old are you, Calvin? About 12?
6.
6? Okay. All right, so what did you do today? Did you sing with the pumpkin?
I didn't with Haley.
Oh, okay.
That's Owen.
That's Owen's pumpkin. Okay, Haley, what did you guys do?
So today, we did our opening circle,
Uh-huh.
and then we colored a picture. I did a few mazes. Then we went outside and we played red light, green light.
Ooh.
And then we came inside and we decorated pumpkins.
Uh-huh.
And then we did our meditation.
Meditation.
We did, we practiced our song.
Okay.
And we did our closing circle.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was a very busy morning, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was coloring too.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. All right. Well, kids, thank you so much for sharing about your morning with us. We're so happy that you're here. Thank you. You want to go ahead and sit down? I'm going to real quickly run through announcements before we do our peace song. That's what's next, right? Announcements. Okay. Our announcements. Remember, we do have a website, unityofucaipa.org, and you can go on there and see what's going on. Wednesday, Soup, Salad, and Soul has been going so well. We're having a good time. We're having some good soup, good salad. We have a sign-up sheet out there if you'd like to bring something this Wednesday. We won't be meeting the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, but otherwise through November, it's a go. We have our full moon ceremony on November the 12th. Next Sunday is our open house. And so we're going to have, yes, it's our open house. After the service, we're going to have like a good spread of food out there. Wendy Hunt will be out here doing music. And so it's just going to be a great afternoon. We have a new member class coming up on November 17th. If you would like to just sit and kind of go through the Unity principles and see, maybe you'd like to join our church. And that would be a good place to ask questions and go a little deeper. And we're planning our Christmas party right now for Saturday, December 7th. It'll be at 5:30. And it'll be kind of a potluck with some Christmas music and some Christmas readings. All right, Tender Toast is still collecting things like chapstick and batteries and flashlights. And one last announcement I just want to make, and this really doesn't have anything to do with the church, but then it really does, because coming up is a fitness challenge. Well, no, it's not a fitness challenge. It is a holistic lifestyle challenge at 0 Point Athletics. Yes. And so if you have any questions, you can ask Taylor about it after the service. But I have started going, and I'm not somebody who likes to exercise. I don't work out. I'm fragile as a kitten. And yet I actually did things while I was there. And things, Sean goes there too. But I felt I really can feel a change already. So nobody's turning you loose amongst all this equipment that looks big and scary and like it might bite you. Somebody is following you around from thing to thing, helping you do what is best for you in that moment. So I'm going to do the challenge. There's a big challenge coming up, so I'm going to do it. Because I'm ready to challenge myself to that next thing. But see, it's about holistic lifestyle. It is about holism. And that's what our body needs, right? Is the kindness and helping it get to a neutral state to start growing. And like me, I'm in a state where I'm not even at neutral yet. So Taylor's helping me get to neutral so that I can start getting stronger. So it's really, I just can't even say enough good things about it right now. So if you have any questions afterwards, talk to Taylor or talk to me or come with me tomorrow morning. I'll be there at 6 a.m. Oh, and they have a red light machine. Like you stand in front of this red light and you get this red light therapy. It's really, really good for you. Okay, so that's all I'm going to say with announcements. Is there anything I've forgotten? Okay, we're going to circle up now and do our peace song. You guys want to come back here with me? Yeah.
hot pink.
I know, but she keeps smiling. That seems my child.
Snack or anything?
It was a nice Halloween theme.
Wasn't it fun? Thank you. Thank you for saying that. I was like kind of wondering, like,